Hi, I want to welcome Professor Holcomb from the University of Texas at El Paso to speak with us about economics and some of the special challenges and opportunities that he's had in this field. Welcome, Dr. Holcomb.
Thank you, Cynthia. Welcome.
First, I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started, what school you went to, any I know that you went to the University of Texas at El Paso. Tell us a little bit about your journey getting to where you are today.
Okay. Well, I went to Eastwood High School, graduated in the class of 1975, and then I wound up at UTEP, the University of Texas, El Paso. I didn't have a clear idea of what I wanted to major in when I first started. I think I was a science major my first semester, but I bounced around a little bit, took all my basic courses, seeing what would work. And then I actually became an accounting major in the College of Business. And I started there and took the basic business classes, but I took an economics class, and it just really fascinated me. I really got it. The light bulb clicked on for me. I did really well. I understood it. I had a captivating professor to start, and I just got interested. So I, took another one and then another one, and next thing you know, I'm an economics major. I was just fascinated by the process. What we talk about a lot is the idea of thinking like an economist, and that's not as scary as it sounds. It's really just remembering that every action, every decision has both a benefit and a cost, and to always keep that in mind. To remember everything has a benefit and a cost, and that just clicked with me. And my original intention was to then go from there to law school, but I got so wrapped up in economics, I instead went for a PhD, and I wound up with a PhD from Texas A&M University. And then was hired back at UTEP, starting in 1985. So I've been at UTEP since 1985.
So I see that you have a very interesting background. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do on the side? Because I think that's important, and also how, if at all, economics has played into your choice of becoming active in the swimming field. I know it's because of your children, but share with us.
My kids wanted to do swimming, swim team, and I started helping out when they were little, and I always wanted to help out and parent volunteer and do something. And I don't know if it was my economics background, but I gravitated toward being an official, a judge of swimming. And as my kids kept going and doing better, I kept going and doing bigger swim meets, and it became my hobby. I didn't play golf, so it became my hobby. And I'm currently an internationally rated swimming official and have worked at the World Championships, World Junior Championships, Pan-Pacific Championships in Fiji, and I've been able to travel the country officiating swim meets. I worked at the U.S. Olympic trials. This upcoming one will be my third time, and so it's been a hobby and an adventure. I'm not sure exactly how much my economics background has had it directly in officiating, but economics is everywhere. Everything we do is something about economics. It really is. We tease that economists are academic imperialists, that we think everything is economics, but everything we do is about making a decision involving a scarce resource, if nothing else, your time. So, if I made a decision to go work a swim meet in Minnesota, I had to think of what I was giving up. What am I missing to do that? What is it going to cost me? And not just the dollars, but the time. What else am I not doing? What we talk about, the opportunity cost, which is the real true cost of anything. So I think that's where it's come into play. Economics is both my vocation, my job, and my avocation, my other hobby. I see economics in everything we do. I think of things as an economist would think of them. What's the cost? What's the benefit? Why are people behaving the way they're behaving? Why are they making the choices that they're making?
I'm so glad you bring that. I'm sorry, go ahead. I
No,
interrupted you. Oh,
please.
I'm so glad you bring that up because I have, many students, often students will say, I'm only interested in sports, or I like gaming, or I'm only interested in, fashion, or they have certain interests that I think it's important to let them know that economics does play into those interests that they have and their decisions that they make. And so what you bring up in terms of opportunity cost, how much time can I dedicate to this advocate, to the Olympic swimming, how much time can I allocate to my work? All of those are methods of thought and training that come from your background in economics. And it seems like it's been a successful blend so far.
So far.
So far. As you know, most community college students are very non-traditional. We do have some traditional students. We have early college, high school students. I believe up to 25% of our student base is early college, high school, or dual credit. And they all come from various backgrounds and face sometimes very significant challenges. What words of advice would you share with us from your experience as a professor and working with students from different backgrounds? What can they do to be successful and hopefully complete their college education?
I think the most important thing, well, let me backtrack just a second. My dad had gone to college. My dad had graduated from college. So I had some idea about college, but not as much as you might think. When I knew that I was sort of expected to go to college, and I went, but I really didn't know what was up. I mean, like I said, my dad had graduated from college, but I just sort of started. I really started. I think I signed up to be a general science major because I did like math and things back then, and I think the one of the first things I would say is don't limit yourself when you first get started. I really think that college is, in fact, for changing your major. I don't know how many 17, 18-year-olds know what they want to do with the rest of their life. And in fact, I think, most of the studies show that we change careers like 2.7 times on average in our lives. Now, I didn't, but that we change careers, not just jobs, but careers to more than 2 times in our life. And that's the biggest thing I would say is don't limit yourself. Don't be sure what you want to do when you first graduate from high school. The one piece of advice I always give when I'm asked is, if you can possibly do it, start out with calculus. Math is what limits your choices going forward. If you don't start out taking calculus, you can't do science or engineering, or it becomes hard because you have to backtrack all the way to the beginning. And so if you can do it, do that. And then later you can decide whether that was for you or not. I mean, if you only like math a little bit, business is a great way to go. If you hate math and can't possibly stand it, then something in liberal arts becomes available. But if you start out skipping math, then you've limited your choices to begin with. So the biggest piece of advice I would say is don't limit yourself when you get started. I know that if you're interested in something right now, and fashion is what interests you right now, there is no telling what's going to interest you 3 years from now. And the more choices you have, I think the better off you're going to be. So that's my big advice. Don't limit yourself when you get started.
Great. So what I'm hearing you say is get your foundations, get your strong math foundation. And
Absolutely.
that opens up many avenues for you.
Yeah, it leaves them all open. Like I said, if you start out, you're going to take just the most basic math that's required to graduate. You know, you've limited yourself going forward, especially in the first couple of years. If something catches your interest and you really want to do it, and you really like it, you know, you start out in gaming, but then you really, really want coding on the back end or something, or something, you know, higher order computing, you have to go back and get your math and start over again. And I think that's the keep your options open.
Those are great words of advice. Dr. Holcomb, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. And it's truly appreciated. Thank you
Thanks
so
very
much.
much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.